Welcome to David Alexander Maths Tuition. This is chapter 1D on negative and fractional indices. Okay, so the first thing we need to remember is that anything to the power of 1/2 is the same as the square root of the thing. So this means root 25, so the answer is 5. It could be 5, it could also be minus 5, because remember minus 5 times minus 5 is also positive 25. So 9 to the power of 1/2, that is the square root of 9, so that is plus or minus 3. Now if to the power of 1/2 means the square root, to the power of 1/3 means the cube root. Oops, that is a 3. To the power of 1/4 means the fourth root. So here we are cube rooting 64, and the cube root of 64 is 4. No, negative 4, only plus 4. Okay, so things get a little bit funky when it's 3/2. So what we need to do here is we are going to be taking this root of 9, so we are square rooting 9, and then we are cubing the answer. So it's the square root of 9 cubed. Root 9 is 3, so that is 3 cubed, and 3 cubed, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So remember, that's the root we take, and then we raise it to this power. Now here we've got nice and easy one actually, because it's to the power of 1/2, which means it is the square root, a bit like the previous slide, 25/16. And we just need to remember that that is the square root of 25 over the square root of 16. So that is going to be 5/4. 7 to the power of 0, 1. This is one you just need to learn. Anything to the power of 0 is always 1. Okay, so now we're on to negative powers. So we need to remember that 4 to the negative 1 is the same. When you've got negative powers, you probably want to turn them into positive powers. So to turn this into something to the power of 1, I take the reciprocal of 4. The reciprocal of 4 is 1/4, so that is 1/4 to the power of positive 1. Of course, we'd never bother writing to the power of 1, we just write that as 1/4. Here's another example, 6 to the negative 3, that is the same as 1/6 to the power of positive 3, so that is 1/6 cubed, and that is the same as 1 cubed over 6 cubed, which is 1/6 times 6 times 6, which I believe is 236. Let me just double check that. No, I was wrong, it's 216, so there we go. Okay, so here we've got some fairly nasty looking negative, well they're negative and they're fractional. So the first thing to do is turn it into a positive power. 81/64 to the power of negative 1/2 is the same as 64/81 to the positive 1/2, which therefore means the square root of the whole thing, or the square root of 64 over the square root of 81, which is 8/9. 27/8 to the negative 1/3 is the same as 8/27 to the positive 1/3, which means the cube root of all of that stuff, and that means the cube root of 8 over the cube root of 27, which is 2/9. 8/125 to the minus 2/3 is the same as 125/8 to the positive 2/3. So the common mistake people make with these, by the way, is they think you need to flip the power fraction. No, you don't. You're just flipping the fraction itself. The power stays the same, apart from it goes from minus to positive. So what this means is 125 to the power of 2/3 over 8 to the power of 2/3. So what are we doing here? We are cube rooting and then squaring. The cube root of 125 is 5. 5 squared is 25. Cube rooting 8 and then squaring the answer. Cube root of 8 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So that is 25/4. Okay, so here we are doing some funky things with some powers. So do the numbers first. 7 times by 5 is 35. X to the negative 2 times x to the negative 3 is x to the power of minus 2 plus minus 3. Remember, powers of x, when we're multiplying powers of x, we add the powers. Minus 2 plus minus 3 is the same as minus 2 minus 3, so minus 5. And another way you could write it is 35 over x to the power of positive 5. Sometimes that might be a more helpful way of writing it. Let's have a look at the next example. So 13 times 2, that's easy, that is 26. x to the power of what? So remember, it's going to be 3/4 plus minus 2/3, so minus 2/3. So that is going to be 9 minus 8 over 12. 9 take 8 is 1/12, so 26x to the power of 1 over 12. Okay, here we've got some stuff in brackets raised to the power of minus 4. We need to remember that that is 2 to the power of minus 4 multiplied by x to the minus 3 to the minus 4. Now 2 to the minus 4, that is the same as 1 over 2 to the power of 4. So that's a half times a half times a half times a half, or a quarter times a quarter, which is 1/16. And here, when something is raised to another power, in brackets raised to another power, we multiply. So that is x to the power of negative 3 times negative 4. Minus 3 times minus 4 is positive 12. So that's plenty of opportunities to make a variety of mistakes with that one. Okay, so this final example, we need to remember that this is 32 to the power of 3/5 multiplied by x to the power of 2/3 raised to the power of 3/5. So we're taking the fifth root of 32 and then cubing the answer. The fifth root of 32 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. And this is going to be x to the power of 2/3 multiplied by 3/5. And 2/3 multiplied by 3/5 is that is correct. Sorry, I've just checking I'd written it correctly. And that is 2x to the power of 2 over 5. Okay, so some pretty challenging ones there.